of deep sadness, and we still continue, of course, to deal with this intractable problem, this terrible problem of COVID-19. And the difficulty that we have now, or the challenges that we're confronting now, go beyond the health issues that were raised initially. You know, the health crisis, we have learned a lot from the management of the coronavirus and the COVID disease and the way it spread and so on. And I want to just extend my thanks and my appreciation and my love to all of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines who have done a wonderful job in keeping this virus at bay, in taking the precautionary measures. I know that sometimes the people who they slip up or deliberately feel that they have done, enough and so much, but we can't not be vigilant, because we know in a situation like this that one or two mistakes, it gets into the community and then we're back to square one. So we have to continue to be vigilant, to do the things that we know will prevent the spread. We have said that community distancing or social distancing or physical distancing, whatever term we want, we understand what it means. Keeping our distance from other people, staying home when you can, and only going into risky situations where crowds are, or traveling on public transport when it's absolutely necessary to prevent the spread of the virus. Of course, the challenge that we have now, I've said that the medical crisis was the initial challenge that we confronted, and we now have to deal with the question of how do we live with this situation, with the virus still in our midst. There's no treatment still, there's no vaccine. So we have to figure out how do we live with this going forward, and that is a real challenge that we are encountering now. And so it is a question of, how do we conduct our lives socially, church services, going to school, going shopping, interacting in social events. We have to figure out ways to do it safely and to do as much as possible to return to life as we knew it and loved it in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And this requires as well for us to tackle the economic fallout. And that in early April, we were in the Parliament and we passed a bill, a stimulus package on the supplementary appropriation bill, supplementary estimate, that provided some relief for people who have been affected negatively by the corona crisis. And that is funds were made available to assist those persons. We had our differences with government about how much of the package should be allocated, how it should be distributed in terms of social projects or in construction projects, or as income support programs for the various sectors, people in the various sectors of the economy that were directly affected. And we know, of course, the tourism sector, the entertainment sector, the hospitality sector in general has been very, very heavily hit by this crisis, because people are not coming into the country and they're traveling, so the hotels don't get the business. Even the hotels that are, traditional business hotels, not just the normal fun tourist hotels or beach hotels, they also have been very seriously affected. And so we have to figure out ways that to position ourselves as soon as possible to be able to re-engage in economic activity. But it can only be done in a safe way. I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and we were discussing exactly this problem of how does the tourism industry manage going forward, knowing that the flights, first of all, are not coming. But even when the airlines, I'm told that American Airlines is to start back flying to Antigua, or at least one flight pretty soon. We have heard talk about various airports around the region that's thinking about how do they reopen. But the challenge is this, you would have nationals returning home, those who have been stuck abroad, taking the first opportunity to come home. And among those, I will mention the workers who are on the oil rig. in the Gulf of Mexico who wish to come home but can't because there are no flights to come home. So I'm sure as soon as there are flights available, they will find ways to make it. But the challenge is beyond that. Our nationals who wish to come, of course, they will take the flight and do whatever precautionary measures they can. They will come here, they'll do the testing, they will do the quarantine, and they will feel better because they're at home. But in terms of the tourism sector, in terms of the recovery of the hotel and restaurant businesses, that requires us to some sort of return to the business, not the business tourists, but the tourists who travel for fun, for pleasure. And that is the one that I think is going to be more discretionary and more people are going to feel that, whether they are safe to get on a plane when they get here, what are the conditions under which they will be allowed to come into the country. And of course, the quarantine is necessary as we continue to go forward. But if you're coming for a 2-week vacation and you have to be quarantined in your hotel for 2 weeks, then that is something that is not going to be attractive to people who are coming as tourists. So this is a challenge that we have to face, and certainly the season for the summer, it seems that that is completely out of the question. How do we, if in the normal tourist season begins in the winter season for North America, because that's where most of the tourists come from, how do we re-engage? To what extent are we able to do so safely? And that is a real challenge that we have to confront. The ordinary businesses, the barbershops, the beauty salons, the small businesses here in St. Vincent, when do they feel safe enough to say, okay, let me reopen and provide service to my customers and do it in a safe way? These are challenges that we have to encounter, and I have called upon the government. I've said that we can't just do it with a small committee within the Ministry of Planning or Ministry of Finance. There should be a task force whose job it is, whose role it is to bring expertise to the government from the various sectors of the economy, not just only their own personal training and skill, but also their experience. Because experience is still the best teacher. And for people who are affected by the crisis in various industries, they are the ones who will bring their stories, their experience to help us to say, well, this is how we are to cope going forward, because that is what it's going to take for us to have a plan. And the government has none right now. They don't have a plan as to how we are going to cope going forward. We've had the stimulus package, and people have been told that there is prime that they can apply for. There is unemployment benefits up to $2 million in total for everybody. You can get $300 for 3 months. There is the supplemental income relief. There is all these programs that are limited resources and for a limited time period. But what do we do when those programs have run out and the economy is still in the situation now that we have it, where it's not picking back up, it's not functioning? That is what we need to encounter, and that the best way to do so is to have the voices of people who are affected, people who have special skill and expertise in a task force, a national task force that will bring that level of scrutiny and seriousness to the problem, and make themselves available to the government, to the country, as a means of public service, to put forward ways in which we can go forward over the next 6 months, over the next year, because we don't know when we are going to be out of this. The experts tell us they're scrambling and working very hard to get vaccines, but what they say is that it takes 18 months at the minimum if everything goes right. And as for a treatment, there doesn't seem to be anything in the horizon. So realistically, we'll be living with this for the rest of the year and well into next year. So how do we manage it? That is a challenge that I want our people to put their minds around and to say, well, listen, this is how we are going to go forward as a society. I said from the very beginning, we're doing this together as a people. There are those who seek to create this into some partisan rivalry between, the ULP and the NDP, or the government and the opposition, or myself and Ralph. This is really an unhelpful characterization of the situation. You know, I've been sorely tempted by persons who have sought to make this into a partisan political issue. But I know that practically speaking, that it does not help to go down that road. So this is why I have sought to keep it at a level where we're dealing with the problems of people and that we're seriously confronting these problems to find solutions. And I will always be a part of that, and I've committed the opposition in the parliament and my political party, the Indian Democratic Party, to be to play that constructive role on behalf of the citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I think that is what our people expect of us. That is what they want us to do. Because they are hurting. You know, I see it every day. People come to my office. People call me at my on my telephone at home, in my office, because they are beginning to feel the pain. You will recall that in the Parliament when we had the debate, I urged the government, I said, put the money where the pain is. We are in unprecedented times here, an unprecedented crisis. The people have no place else to turn when they have no food to put on their table. You know, their families and loved ones in the United States and in Canada, in Toronto and elsewhere, who used to send stuff for them, they are also hurting. They are also in difficult times, and so they can't provide the kind of assistance that we need. So we have to look to our own resources and get a serious program to say how we're going to manage in the economy and how we are going to manage socially, how we are going to provide assistance and assurance, because public confidence is key. I've said this is the same thing when it comes to the management of the health crisis, but it is also key when it comes to managing the economic crisis going forward, because when people see that they have no job and they have no food in the house, the electricity bill is overdue. We're told that JNLEC has been instructed not to cut off people. That's a good thing. And there's been some reduction in the bill, but it still mounts. You know, we have to figure out how we're going to deal with this. And this is where I say we need a broad-based task force that would put themselves at the service of government, not just the people in the Ministry of Planning and the Ministry of Finance, to come up with the solutions going forward. This has been done in other countries. You know, it's been done in Trinidad and Tobago. It's been done in Antigua. I'm sure it's been done elsewhere. But irrespective of what has been done there, the practical is the right thing to do, because we have to all pull together. If you have a crisis like a hurricane comes and damages the country, as it's been done in, say, Dominica or elsewhere, we all pull together as a society. We come together, we help one another, and we figure out how we're going to get past it. You know, but in this crisis here, which is more intractable, more long-term, we have to be even more committed to ensuring that we do the right thing, that we give the assurance to people that we are in this together, and that even when we having to tighten our belts, that we're not going to see other people, you know, essentially letting out their buttons because they are profiting or benefiting from the crisis. That is what our people want. And the COVID-19 relief packages that have been, that was voted in Parliament, the various relief measures that the government has been announcing, these are things that are from the national purse. They are supported by the opposition in the Parliament. This is something that is for the national board, and everybody, irrespective of political affiliation, you know, the only thing that ought to matter in the distribution of these goods is the need of the people of our country. And then we can start planning and thinking of how we are going to reconstruct our economy going forward to create jobs for the young people, to create jobs for the people in St. Vincent and Grenadines. You know, prior to COVID-19, you know, we had a serious problem with the economy of this country. You know, you had basically negative growth, decline. You had anemic growth of 1.5%, 2% growth in the economy for years. And that is why we've had an increase in unemployment and hardship in the country. So we've had this before COVID-19. So we have to confront the problem now, take the opportunity that this crisis has provided us to put a microscope on our economy and to say, well, how can we make it better? How can we make it more productive? How can we make it so that it creates jobs? How can government, what should government do to focus its attention on creating jobs, creating a vibrant economy? Without a strong economy, without a growing economy, a lot of the social goods, a lot of the public goods that we used to enjoy, that we have become used to, that we've become used to government providing, will not be provided, or certainly not will be provided, will not be provided in the amount that is necessary to create a good living standard for the people of our country. And that is where we are now, and that is what we're confronting. We've had there's been so much bad news in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The tragedies we've had. 5 murders homicides within 7 days, indicating that there has been a spurt in this terrible manifestation of our condition here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I spoke about the case of the young lad, 11-year-old Jamari Phillips, in the circumstances, but there are other killings that have taken place recently in the country that worries us all because of the nature of these killings. Which is from the reports that we've heard, they seem to be the sort of homicides that will worry law enforcement officers because they are not just episodic. They seem more in the from the reports that we've heard, execution style kinds of killings. These are things that we have to, as a society, when we see this outbreak of violence, if you like, this increase in the number of homicides, 5 in 7 days, we have to stand up right immediately and say, listen, this is unacceptable. Let us do something about it. You will recall 2 years ago, we in the New Democratic Party led a march from St. to Kingstown and from Ravica to Kingstown, basically highlighting the situation of the growing number of homicides in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that had been for 3-4 years. The numbers had increased up to the point when there were over 40 in 1 year, which is a high percentage when you have a population of only 110,000 people. So we have to acknowledge that we have a problem and deal with it, speak about it, deal with it, put measures in place to deal with it. One of the best ways in which to deal with crime in any country is to get the economy growing, provide jobs and hope to people. Nothing says to somebody, that they have a stake in making things better in the country, in creating a safe environment for their communities, their businesses, their families, than if they have a job or a business and they have a stake in the country. And that is what we aim to create. That is what we must create. And in particular for those young people who come out of school and 3-4 years they can't find any serious employment. And we heard the news, of course, recently that the geothermal project, have seen public reports, seems to be not going anywhere. There is a serious problem, technical problem with the capacity, the production, the potential to produce electricity by that means, and it has been built up as a potential game changer for us here in St. Vincent. We have supported it because, of course, in our hearts, we want it to succeed. We want to be able to have cheap, clean energy, reliable energy in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because that could then create the conditions for greater economic activity, for more competitive businesses, particularly in manufacturing and food processing, and even for hotels. If you have cheap electricity, then their air conditioning bills will go down, their light bills will go down. But it seems like that is not going to materialize from the comments I've heard from the Prime Minister reported publicly, and from what I've heard from other sources of persons who have been involved in the project. And that is very disappointing. I think that it needs to be that there must be a statement, not just the musings and the responses to questions here and there. There has to be a public statement about it, because this project was supported, it was funded, the exploration was funded by finance from the Caribbean Development Bank, and it is a project of national importance. I'm told at the bank, the nature of the loan was such that if the exploitation, if the resources found were not exploitable, that it converts from a loan into a grant. Well, these things all need to be aired publicly by the government in a a constructive way so that the people understand where we are with respect to this project. We don't need any further speculation going forward.
And Dr. Friday, we do need to wrap up, okay? I'm sorry, yes, but we do have to wrap up. I really do want to get in at least one question from our WhatsApp family. This person says, I'll only get to do one question, unfortunately. This person is saying election is less than 6 months away, and it's unfair to the electorates for them not to know who the NDP candidate is for North Windward, East St. George, Mesopotamia, and East Kingstown. What is the opposition leader doing about it?
Well, we are working very hard. We have a candidate where we have persons who have identified, who have come forward, who are willing to serve, and those will be made known very soon. So I appreciate the concern, and I agree with the questioner that, we need to have all of our candidates declared so that the people can know that who they are supporting. But I think the people in those communities, they have a very good idea as to who the candidates are, even if they have not been declared publicly, and they've been doing the work on the ground. So that's that level of assurance. But some of these things, the decisions, the timing of these decisions are not just simply a matter of having somebody who say, yes, I'm ready, I'm willing. There are other factors that are included. And so I want to assure the questioner that we are as anxious as he or she is, and that we understand the importance of it, and that we are dealing with it very, very soon.
I want to squeeze in one more question.
Thank you.
Someone is asking, what are your thoughts on, and they sent a picture here of some T-shirts. I don't know if it's a template that was posted by some persons involved in the New Democratic Party. It says, all hands on deck, Ralph, take your knees off SVG neck. And there's a picture of the scene where George Floyd is on the ground and pinned down by the police officer. The person is asking, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think the tragedy involving George Floyd and the situation with police violence in the United States is one that, is well known and deserves the support and attention of all decent people all over the world. And I wouldn't want to, in a sense, appropriate their struggle and to instead of giving it the attention that it requires, and to give the support that it requires by the imagery and the words and everything that goes with publicizing that so that they get the attention. I wouldn't want to take that away and put it on anything else. So I wouldn't encourage that sort of association. I would want us to give the support to the cause that has generated that imagery and so on. And certainly, we've had some unfortunate fallout, violence in various cities in the United States, and to use that imagery, there are those who will say that that they may misinterpret the intention, which is to say that we are having difficult, hard times in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that we need to have fairness and victimization and the kinds of oppression that people feel in their personal lives. The economic situation in St. Vincent being so hard and so difficult for themselves. We don't want, that we wouldn't want that image and the circumstances that are unfolding in the United States to be, in a sense, conflated with the circumstances here, where it may lead to unnecessary interpretations that suggest that people are advocating things that may not be their intention. So I would prefer to leave the imagery there and to deal with the situation in the United States, to give the support to that cause, and all of the publicity they can get from it, then we should give to them. And we have our own struggles here we sympathize and support the struggles that they're going through in the United States with respect to police violence and the violence against black people in general. It's a cause that we support. And in St. Vincent, our own struggles, we will develop, and we have our imagery and our language to deal with that, because our situation here is very, very serious and dire as well.
Thank you, Dr. Friday. And I do hope that you speak to these persons who are posting this image out there for everyone to see.
Daniel, there's sometimes in these circumstances, you will get things that, the people who are, supportive and so on, and we always welcome the support. But it's not everything that, is sanctioned by the party or everything that we will say, yeah, let's, run with this and so on. And I think that on reflection, those persons will say, well, listen, this is something that I understand the concern that Dr. Friday has raised, and act appropriately. We have our own challenges here in St. Vincent, and if anything, we have our language and our images many of them that we can use to reflect the very serious circumstances that we are confronting. And that is what we will, in the Democratic Party, will do. And so thank you so much. And Bing, again, I say good morning to you, and we look forward to
way over time. Way over time. But thank you so much for your call, Dr. Friday.
All right.
It's nice talking to you.
All the best, man. All right, bye-bye.
The following is a paid political segment by the New Democratic Party.
Yeah, shotgun. You do the thing going on. The one I put more and the one I sent James. Remember when we're gone, we live forever. Salt Spring, we not going under. I'll get on you, get your money longer. Ready, broke pocket now, straight from the narrow now, make no wrong turn. Get the cheddar, money maker any weather. Perry treasure, dig it up out with the leather. Get the cheddar, money maker any weather. Perry treasure, dig it up out with the leather. Biffy, have a chopper, watch it.
We lighten up the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. OMG in the morning.
Yo, it's your boy DJ Diego of Boom 1069. Just giving you a little sneak peek of behind the scenes of what we do to keep our scene clean and stop the spread of COVID-19. We all have to do our part to stop the spread. Stay home, stay safe, stop the spread. A message from Boom 1069 and IKTV.
We lighten up the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. OMG in the morning.
Boom! All the fans of soca. Push them up and up and up, up and up, up and up. You see we hands gonna up and up, up and up. Everybody hands gonna up and up.
In order to stop the spread of the coronavirus, the government and healthcare professionals have encouraged the public practice social distancing. Social distancing is simply staying at home, avoiding crowds, and avoiding touching each other. If you must come outside to go to work or run an errand, you are encouraged to sneeze or cough within the crease of your elbow or cough within a tissue and discard immediately. Practice washing your hands regularly or the use of hand sanitizer. This message was brought to you by Boom 1069 and IKTV. Stay home, stay safe, stop the spread.
Stop the spread of viral infections including the flu and COVID-19 by practicing proper hand washing. Follow these simple steps. Remove all jewelry before washing hands. Wet hands using running water. Place liquid soap in hand. Circulate using rotational movements, interlace fingers, and repeat switching hands. Wash back of fingers, rotating them in the palms. Wash fingertips, rotating them in palms. Wash thumbs using rotational movements. Thoroughly wash hands down to the wrists. Rinse hands. Dry with clean tissue. Turn off tap using tissue. Use tissue to open door. and discard in bin. A simple act can make a huge difference. Stop the spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. This is a message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment.
We lighten up the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. OMG in the morning. Vibe Central plays in the most fire in the nighttime.
Hey, yo, play that shit again.
8 p.m. to midnight with Platinum Jugglers on the Evolution Station. Boom 1069.
On Thursdays, we throw it back, boy.
Throwback Thursday. The biggest throwbacks all day. It's nothing but continuous urban jams. Lock it to the Evolution Station.
We talk about your jams, the old school joints, everything.
On Thursday, we throw it back.
Let's throw back Thursdays on the Evolution Station.
This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot.
Throwback Thursday.
When the talk about Evolution.
1069. Boom. 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 Boom.
So the reason why we in healthcare use this mask, the N95 mask, is because we have a prolonged contact and continuous contact with the ill. A prolonged contact is considered within 1 meter of the patient and for more than 15 minutes. And you know, healthcare workers, we would have to keep doing this. Also, we'll be doing aerosolized procedures. You may have to nebulize someone, so we need a little bit more protection, and that's why we use the N95 mask. While caring for someone at home, always remember, even though you're using this mask, that your contact should really be minimal. And it does protect you in the case of corona because the virus is quite big and very unlikely to pass to and from this mask. And that's why the patient would wear it and the person providing care will wear it.
All right, gonna wait on that call from Jerry so late today. So late today. Jerry, I apologize in advance. That's if he even calls me. I would understand. Oh, we had some more questions for Dr. Friday, but unfortunately, we had already gone over time. I definitely tried to squeeze those 2 questions at the end there. Jerry, we're going on. We're going on, Jerry. Someone else wanted to know what Dr. Friday's thoughts were on Mr. Noel Dixon's statement on Facebook regarding the Prime Minister. This person is saying that he called him a Portuguese. And he wanted to know if Dr. Friday was going to condone that. I didn't know that happened. Somebody else is saying, good answer, Dr. Friday. That person, I guess, liked the way that he answered one of those questions that we asked him. Let me try reading some more comments here. This person is saying, I don't want to read about Mr. Weeks while we are in Jerry's segment, who I don't think he's gonna call. Jerry, I'm so sorry. Okay, that's I went over your time. Wait, hold on. Let me see if this is Jerry. Good morning.
Danny, this is not Jerry. Can I?
Well, I've already went over into Jerry's time. So in the event that he calls, yes, thank you.
Okay.
In the event that he calls, I still want to keep the line free, but I doubt he'll call. He would have already called by now, I'm sure. This person says, morning guys. Although I'm probably the biggest critic of Jerry, I think the NDP needs to hire Jerry to get their message out. That was a car crash from Dr. Friday. What? Why would you say that? My UK family there, This is the UK family I said it was missing yesterday. Good morning to you, but man, what do you mean, boy? This person is saying we need to hear Jerry today. All right, gotta say good morning to the persons locked on Facebook Live. Good morning. No, I am not bored. Flex showed me something about somebody asking some questions. Good morning to our family selling the farine on the Facebook Live. Is he there? Is he there, Flex? He's there. Yes. Good morning. What's his name? What is Ken? Ken. Morning, Ken. I can't tell. Kent. Morning to you. Gotta say good morning as well to Miranda. Good morning to the folks locked on in Antigua. We also got Toronto locked on with us. Gotta say hello to you guys. You could, yes, thank you. A lot of people here. I'm trying to shout out. Somebody on from Grenada. Good morning, Grenada in the house. Jerry threw me off in a. Now, when I first saw this image of the t-shirts, where I don't know if these persons intend to separately print that on the t-shirt outside of, as Dr. Friday said, they go and do their own thing. Why would you use something like that for your political purposes? I'm not really understanding what's the thought process behind. Did you see it, Flex?
No.
The t-shirt? No, you didn't see it? Yeah. It's a black t-shirt, and they have the image of George Floyd being pinned down by the officer, and they're saying, Ralph, take your foot off. I don't understand people sometimes when they do some of these things, because I think it is completely inappropriate. And if it's just a template that they constructed to post, I really hope that they don't go ahead and print those t-shirts. It's really, it's a bit distasteful. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and read some of the other comments. This person is saying that they think that Mr. Weeks had forgotten about Dr. Miller. I believe this relates to our conversation earlier about mental health and the issues that our mental health system is facing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This person is saying, good morning, ask Mr. Weeks about Dr. Patterson. I don't know who that Dr. Patterson is. Another person is saying Mr. Weeks is making excuses. We need a psychiatrist. We need more than one. Simple. Why can't he cut the excuses? Oh Lord, I'll give Mr. Weeks a chance. Let's play this voice note quickly before we jump off for another break there.
Good morning, Danielle. Good morning. You're right up my alley this morning. Good morning, Mario. Flex. Sometimes you have to speak up like you're alive. Sometimes it seems as though you're not alive. You know what I mean? You gotta thank the Most High for being in the studio. So when Daniel asking you, Flex, what's going on? You gotta be like, girl. What I see and I understand and I'm aware is like all the words you could use. Vincentians are not consistent. It's like 9 days talk. Something happened here, or everybody talking about it. And within 9 days, or less than 9 days, the thing just died down. You see what happened in here? You see what happened in here? Once you stand for something and you believe in something, You just got to put the pressure on. And to me, I'm only talking about St. Vincent. Let me come from there. Let me talk me talk. We don't put on pressures on people who are doing wrong in society. You understand me? Everybody's like scared to talk and scared to do this and scared to do that. If we are more consistent, we will get better results from things that's going on, especially raping and all them kind of stuff there. Vincentians, I hope you guys could be more proactive in all your life and all your children life. Good morning, Danielle.
In our Miranda, you're a Vincentian too.
Run the Brooklyn Bridge, run the Williamsburg Bridge, and I don't smoke my weed. You know me.
Jeez.
And quit to the most side. Have a blessed day, St. Vincent. Love you.
We love you too, Miranda. We definitely love you too. We hope that you have a fantastic day as well, honey. And you know, it's simple. If you believe in something, then you should stand up for it. You should make your voice be heard, and you should not be afraid to do so. It's just unfortunate that some people are afraid of speaking up because of the backlash that they think they will face as a result. I don't know. I don't think you should have to put a muzzle over your mouth in Vinci. Why? I think if you want to protest because you believe that you're being violated or you want to show support because of behind a particular cause, then you should feel free to do so once it's peaceful. Hello, good morning.
Hey, morning, Donny.
Hey, go ahead.
I just want to play something on the radio concerning the national treaty, 1.6 million. No one, according to Mr. Seeley, no one has come forward to clear it. There was a rumor that the young girl, about 16, 17, came, won the ticket and write the name. He said no one come forward as yet. Just to clear the air on it, no one come forward to claim the national lottery.
Right. That's
no underage person, no big person, no name right on tickets, and all them stripping it.
So you're saying that there are rumors circulating that
that the girl, this young girl went it and she writes her name on the ticket and she can't get the money and so forth. Mr. Sigley said no one has come forward. Not from yesterday. He said yesterday no one come forward. Whether a young girl or adult, no one come forward to clear the national.
So we just know that there's a winning ticket.
There's a winning ticket,
but we don't know.
No one has come forward. So no one. There was a rumor saying that the girl came forward yesterday and so forth, but no one came forward.
Well, I didn't hear that rumor, but thank you.
Yesterday morning when I was at the lotto booth, they were saying that the girl came up there and she couldn't get the money. The lotto place closed up and she making one for the night. But that was just rumors.
Okay. Well,
and they were saying that the girl turned up and nothing like that.
Because I'm asking the guys in the studio as well, and they're saying they didn't hear that rumor either. I'm not sure. That's so crazy rumor to start.
Oh, did the person hear it? Anybody won?
No, we all heard that somebody won, but no one has come forward to claim as yet.
Yeah, no one come forward to claim. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
No one has come forward to claim.
Did you try?
I tried. I always trying to see if I can win it.
You had plans for that money too, because I had.
I really had plans for that money,
Boy.
And I tried to play numbers that nobody else wouldn't pick. And the computer gonna pick me up. I tried very hard to see if I can win that money.
Right. Don't worry, maybe next time. Somebody won. There was a $60,000.
Yeah, somebody won last night.
Somebody won
last Ninja. Yeah. But the big money, nobody come forward as yet. According to Mr. Seeley yesterday. Those things changed today. But no one has come forward as yet. No young girl underage has come forward. No name writer, no ticket, and all kind of stupid.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for your contribution. Hey, now, if that person they want it, right? I think me, Flex, Morales, guys, we can take it if the person doesn't want it.
Of course.
Oh my gosh, somebody here on WhatsApp says, morning, SVG needs a strong opposition to keep the government in check. Mr. Friday is one of the nicest persons out here. However, he needs to rebuke one of his party mouthpieces, Margaret London, for pushing such... Oh, Lord. A message on Facebook regarding the t-shirt posters. These are probably some of the reasons why the ruling party keep winning the elections. All right, I'm going to stick a pin right there. Flex, give us a big tune there, please. And we're going to come back with more vibes right here. Still to come, we've got Pastor Richards. He's going to be joining us in the final hour.
Say she all about the G. Me. G. My girl, you know your thing fat, so me keep loving that. Beat you, make it keep coming back. Me love how you're flexible like a acrobat. When you're resting on the dime, me
We lighten up the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. OMG in the morning. Boom Chat Friday.
Boom Chat Friday.
It's a different kind of juggle on Boom.
Everybody cups up. Everybody cups up. For the girl my God loves. If you know
You chat, we juggle.
Boom Chat Fridays.
And you like chat.
Me no in a bankrupt. Me no day a jail dash for the handcuff. One in our pocket, you know me tank up. 6 out here, you know we run prof.
Big up your crew, street or block.
Sending them voice notes now.
Evolution of sound, evolution of music, evolution of radio.
Them no bad like me, them no bad like me, them no bad.
Boom Chat Friday.
Go, 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 go.
1069 Boom. Vibe Central plays in the most fire in the nighttime.
Hey yo, play that shit again.
8 p.m. to midnight with Platinum Jugglers on the Evolution Station. Boom 106.
The Love Zone.
The best R&B jams, period.
Hear it on Boom 1069.
Hey, on Thursdays we throw it back, boy.
Throwback Thursday. The biggest throwbacks all day. It's nothing but continuous urban jams. Lock it to the Evolution Station.
We talk about your jams, the old school joints, everything.
On Thursday, we throw it back.
Let's throw back Thursdays on the Evolution Station.
This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot.
Throwback Thursday.
When the top boy Evolution.
1069 Boom. 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 Boom.
Here we go.
Locking down the entire universe. It's District 106 on the Boom. Galaxy by far. And DJ Flex on the Evolution Station. Boom 1069.
Yo, it's your boy DJ Diego of Boom 1069. Just giving you a little sneak peek of behind the scenes of what we do to keep our scene clean and stop the spread of COVID-19. We all have to do our part to stop the spread. Stay home, stay safe, stop the spread. A message from Boom 1069 and IKTV.
The spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. Follow these simple steps. Remove all jewelry before washing hands. Wet hands using running water. Place liquid soap in hand. Circulate using rotational movements, interlace fingers, and repeat switching hands. Wash back of fingers, rotating them in the palms. Wash fingertips, rotating them in palms. Wash thumbs using rotational movements. Thoroughly wash hands down to the wrist. Rinse hands. Dry with clean tissue. Turn off tap using tissue. Use tissue to open door and discard in bin. A simple act can make a huge difference. Stop the spread of viral infections, including the flu and COVID-19, by practicing proper hand washing. This is a message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness, and the Environment.
On Thursdays, we throw it back, boy.
Throwback Thursday, the biggest throwbacks all day. It's nothing but continuous urban jams. Lock it to the Evolution Station.
We talk about your jams, the old school joints, everything.
On Thursday, we throw it back.
It's Throwback Thursdays on the Evolution Station.
This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot.
Throwback Thursday.
When the top boy Evolution.
1069 Boom. 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 Boom.
Here we go.
Locking down the entire universe. It's District 106 on the Boom. Galaxy by far. And DJ Flex on the Evolution Station. Boom 1069. We lighten up the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. OMG in the morning. Boom Chat Friday.
Boom Chat Friday.
It's a different kind of juggle on Boom.
Everybody cups up. Everybody cups up. For the girl my God loves. If you know
You chat, we juggle.
Chat Fridays.
And you like chat.
Me no in a bankrupt. Me no day a jail dash for the handcuff. One in our pocket, you know me tank up. 6 out here, you know we run prof.
Big up your crew, street or block.
Sending them voice notes now.
Evolution of sound, evolution of music, evolution of radio.
Them no bad like me, them no bad like me, them no bad.
Boom Chat Friday.
Go, 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 go.
1069 Boom.
Trample them, rip up my shot and pass up my jeans and step on me
touch it for you. Somebody go touch it. Some boy go lose a girl tonight. Somebody go touch it for you. Touch it for you. You could all she goes if you want to. She goes if you want. She go give it to who she want. Give it to who she want. You could buy her drinks if you want to. She drinks if you want. She go give it to who she want. My you can own it. Stop one like you have a tagana. You're not the only man in the market with banana. Stop one like a superhero, like the Black Panther in Wakanda. Go there if the next man Shamana. Take example from your father now. He never kill his stepfather now. Cause you know that. No girl, no one, no, 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 no. No girl, no one, no, 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 no. Some boy go lose a girl tonight. Somebody go touch it for you. Somebody go touch it. Some boy go lose a girl tonight. Somebody go touch it for you. Touch it for you.
You want to know about soca? Music to lose it. They like when pet turn over. Soca could prove it. This is the way that we fit and the way that we live we life. Yeah, this is the way that we live. This music is paradise. Yeah, on the road with the trucks and 100,000 coming down. Pretty girls in costumes looking so good. Oh mama, this is the way we live we life. You can't tell we know nah nah. So when they come with a question, then we tell them this. Tell them this is our lifestyle. Soca nice, keep it pumping for the whole night. Soca nice, music with real vibes. Soca nice, party real tight. Soca nice, hey, do you want to have a shake? Yeah, yeah. Want to dingle it? Yeah, no soca play. Yeah, 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 yeah. Do you want to have a shake? Yeah, yeah. Want to dingle it? Yeah, no soca play.
Yo, mornings just got reclaimed. Morning.
No, Flex. I am not Flex. That was a very, very nice. This. How could people not love soca music? How is it possible to not love that? That's feel good music. That was a nice little session day. Yeah, I was definitely feeling that vibe. You could play one more for me. Just one more. You'll give me one more. A really big tune after. Flex, don't disappoint me here. I believe in you. Okay? One more real big tune. Okay, let's go.
Party but you juke in your phone like you texting your boyfriend whole night. Isn't it with you he's supposed to be? But you juke in your phone like you texting your boyfriend whole night. Isn't it with you he's supposed to be? He over there fetting whole night. You over here stressing your life when there's only one you have to live. Don't really wanna intervene, but did you come here with your team? She said no. Tell me to go so I can leave if I don't intervene. She said no. That look like trouble in the morning. When the niggas start to act up, when the music start to pump up, and the girl ready to round my shit. Trouble in the morning, when I'm nowhere close to sober. When the party I was over, and everybody ready to jump and ready to jump and
We lighten up the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. OMG in the morning.
What looks like trouble in the morning, Flex? What looks like trouble in the morning? Palette. Oh man, gotta say good morning to you if you're locked on Facebook. I have a friend here who wants to call. My friend, give me a call now. Make a call. Somebody here says, tell Flex to drop Man of Steel. No.
Man of Steel?
No. No. Okay? Gotta say good morning to Lenore. She's locked on. My good friend here who wants to call, give us a call, please. You can call us now. Somebody else is saying, oh my gosh, I am tying up my whole self over here. Let me see if this works. Hello, good morning.
A very pleasant good morning to you.
A very pleasant good morning to you. You see, listen, you abandoned me this morning. I calling for you. I in haste saying, Lord, like he vexed with me.
I honestly got distracted. I have to admit.
Wait, no. That's unacceptable.
Well, it's facts. They want to hear the truth, they don't.
My feelings are hurt. We're supposed to be having a thing here. We're supposed to be having a thing here, Jerry. You can't.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that when I kept hearing the voice of Dr. Friday, that I thought it was all you. No, seriously, I really thought it was all you.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I went over time and I wanted to get into questions, so I took that time.
No,
I'm
fine,
sorry.
but I went off and did something else and I caught myself.
I understand.
So don't worry about it.
But Jerry, I need to ask you a question.
One question before you go. I ask you. You the same Daniel there who did audition for
what?
Digital Rising Stars?
Listen to me. We're having a conversation about something here. Were you trying to ask me things about?
No.
Why do you don't question me? Let me question you. Okay?
No.
Jerry, don't make us fall out here, please, man. I have a twin sister.
Oh, you do? Okay, fine.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
My twin, she is of the past, and I don't even know.
I remember. Don't worry.
But Jerry, now there's this image of a T-shirt with you heard the description that we gave?
No, I didn't. That's what totally I kind of got dragged away. And,
so it's a picture of George Floyd when he was in the situation with the police officers. And the text says, I don't want to be incorrect, but it says something to the effect of, Ralph, take your foot off our necks or something like that. And was circulated by, I guess, supporters of the New Democratic Party. I'm a supporter. What is your take on that?
God. Which part of it you want me to comment?
No. You comment on the whole thing.
No, I don't even know what to comment. I honestly don't know what to comment. What do you find offensive? The picture that was used?
I just don't think that it needs to be. Don't use that to make. Don't politicize that right now. They're making the relation between a pressure being applied. Okay, I get that. That's what they're referencing. But come on, man.
Well, in this business of the creative, you have what is called creative. Hold on, Wally, I ain't finished.
Okay, all right. Go on.
In the business of the creative, people take license. Now, would I take the same kind of license as another artist? Let me put it that way. Probably I wouldn't. But that is how people do in the creative world. And so somebody sees this as a moment for that. No, my approach would be different to that, because my approach would be, I can't breathe. I wouldn't necessarily use the image, but I'll use the statement. All right? And as I said yesterday morning on my Early in the Morning, which is a Thoughtful Tuesday, I made the point that we, all of us, or some of us, there are people who can't breathe for one reason or the other. They can't breathe because their salary don't get in the breathing space. They can't breathe because of a relationship that they are in that doesn't give them any room. But that was that point. But on the same way, if we went to government, as I think that caricature is intended to, we have to ask ourselves, how many people's breath has this government taken away? And I could immediately think of people like Bigger Biggs, who had the governmental foot placed on his neck. I could think of Marcus de Freitas, who still is owed by the government, even though the court says he should be paid. And he's been balling, I can't breathe for a long time. So there are different ways to look at it. That would be my approach. And I could call some of the names and some of the situations where the government has made it difficult for people to breathe. And there are people who make a lot of noise right now about George Floyd and how they agreed. But they agreed to these people's breath being shut off. They agreed, they applauded it. You see, we cannot have two different stories. Okay? If it was wrong to put your foot on the neck of Bigger Biggs, if it is wrong to keep your foot on the neck of Marcus the Freitas, it's wrong same way how the policeman had his knee on George Floyd's neck.
Somebody say it seems like you're the NDP mouthpiece.
Who said that?
Somebody just messaged me that.
I'm Jerry George mouthpiece, you know. I just say, not a soul just tell me what to say or what to think. I ain't like other people have to tell me what to talk about. This man, I get this man, I talk about it, I talk about it. I give account to nobody for what I say.
What are you trying to imply, Jerry?
I'm not implying, I just said it. I said, nobody calls Jerry George and say, hey, when you go on this morning, talk about this. No, I make up my mind on all of those issues. I talk about what I see. I think with my own brain. I see how things apply, I apply them. Okay? So, people, that is how people in St. Vincent see things, you know. You are nobody unless you're related to some political party or something. Good for that. I have never been, and I have always had an independent mind and view and stuff that I want to speak about.
Somebody says if Jerry thinks that Dr. Friday's, and I won't use that word to describe it, if his presentation someone is saying that they felt like Dr. Friday gave a monologue, and they want to know if they think he got his message out to you.
I know what I said to you. I really didn't listen all through.
Right.
I was doing something. Dr. Friday was kind of in the background. That's why I got carried. I got moved out of the room and got carried away in terms of the time. So I cannot say that I heard all of Dr. Friday's presentation. I can't say that I did that. So it would be unfair for me to judge it because I really did not hear all of it.
Okay. One more.
When I came back on, I heard you saying somebody saying they don't like me, but something or the other. Somebody from England or somewhere else.
I can't remember, and I can't even find that now.
This person said they don't like me, but something or somewhere else. The liking Jerry part is near the end of the ahead.
No, I don't think anybody said that they don't like you. That was definitely not the comment. But someone is saying that Margaret London and Jeffrey Providence should be rebuked for the image, for the T-shirts. I guess
Margaret London and Jeffrey what?
Providence.
For some reason you keep fading. They should do what?
Rebuked for the T-shirts that they shared, the image of the T-shirts that they shared.
Okay.
They want
to say, as I say, people could take political license. That's up to them. As I said to you, my approach would be, I can't breathe. If I were to do that, that's all I will say. I can't breathe, and the words would say no. But I can't tell another person how to treat with what they see. So if people want to rebuke them, fine.
But Jerry, they might listen to you.
Might.
Right, so it's worth a try to say something.
But I just said it. I just told you that would not be the image I would use. I just told you I'd use the phrase, I can't breathe. And I think to me, that is more powerful. That is to me, Jerry George. But for some other people, they thought that the graphic of the image was more important. I saw, I think it was on Facebook, where a parent had a child on the floor and the knee on the neck and the other child with a knee, and they were trying to send that same message, and I thought, how unfortunate. So we have to think these things through, right? But as I say, I wouldn't dare to tell people what they are and not to do. I can tell you what I would do and how I would treat with it. All right? But don't miss the point I'm making. Don't miss the point. Don't get caught up with that. That's their message. I want my message to be sent to you putting into this morning, is that we have, when we're in positions of authority and power, we have to be very careful that we don't squeeze people's breath out of them. I gave an illustration to Saint. Hussein died, even though the court had given him just recompense through the law. He died without receiving anything. In other words, the breath was literally squeezed out of him politically. Those are the things that we need to pay attention to. You see, it's all well and good to talk all the other fancy stuff, but how does the government its foot, its knee on people's neck, people who they feel don't support them, people who they feel that they can give that sense of stuff? And I said there are two bigger bigs, Marcus Defreitas, active ones. And I say that in the context that I remember going on to Nice Radio and trying to raise money so that the Prime Minister's court bill could be paid. The Prime Minister said he wanted the fruit of his judgment. And he wasn't going to stop until the court said he should receive, I think it was $250,000 or whatever it was, for the judgment against Nice Radio. And he said he wanted the fruit of his judgment. The courts have said this about other people, and the same person responsible for giving people their fruit, as the court has declared, hasn't done so. I can't breathe.
Jerry.
That's the problem.
Jerry. The person sent back their message, right? And they said, although I'm probably the biggest critic of Jerry, I think the NDP needs to hire Jerry George to get their message out. Another person here saying you're so good at PR. Jerry, you are great with this PR thing, you know. They need to call you. Laverne and you know, combine all the thing, and I'm just saying.
Anyhow, I'm going to say, the person who is my biggest critic, I like the backhanded comment, the backhanded compliment. Nice and backhanded. Tell them I could accept that too, eh? I recognize it.
Oh man, Jerry, so you're going to be with us tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I should be. I told you what happened here, so let me apologize. But let me say one more thing before I go. You know, in all of this unrest in the United States of America going on for almost a week now, we haven't heard the voices of Caribbean leaders. I make sure and check. Hello, this morning before I go trying to check out Googling and doing all kind of stuff. We have not heard the voices of CARICOM, of the Caribbean leaders speaking to this issue. And it leaves you to wonder why. Because in the diaspora, we have millions of Caribbean people who are black, who would be the ones being attacked here, and nobody. If it was Venezuela, all them would have done talk. Straight up, I gone.
All right, okay. Let's take in some music. With Flex right now, it's OMG in the morning, man. It's vibes all day long as well on Boom 1069.
100 years. The First and Vincent Bank, locally owned.
On point, dropping shade and setting the trends.
You drinking the haterade.
It's the Shade Room with Jill and DJ Shade. DJ on the Evolution Station. Boom 1069. We lighten up the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. OMG in the morning. Boom Chat Friday.
Boom Chat Friday.
It's a different kind of juggle on Boom.
Everybody cups up. Everybody cups up. For the girl my God loves. If you know
You chat, we juggle.
Chat Fridays.
And you like chat?
Me no in a bank crowd. Me no day a jail dash for the handcuff. One in our pocket, you know me tank up. 6 out here, you know we run prof.
Big up your crew, street or block.
Sending them voice notes now.
Evolution of sound, evolution of music, evolution of radio.
Them no bad like me, them no bad like me, them no bad.
Boom Chat Friday.
Go, 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 go.
1069 Boom. We lighten up the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. OMG in the morning.
Hey, on Thursdays we throw it back, boy.
Throwback Thursday, the biggest throwbacks all day. It's nothing but continuous urban jams. Lock it to the Evolution Station.
We talk about your jams, the old school joints, everything.
On Thursday, we throw it back.
It's Throwback Thursdays on the Evolution Station.
This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot.
Throwback Thursday.
When the top boy Evolution.
1069 Boom. 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 Boom.
Spread of viral infections including the flu and COVID-19 by practicing proper hand washing. Follow these simple steps. Remove all jewelry before washing hands. Wet hands using running water. Place liquid soap in hand. Circulate using rotational movements, interlace fingers, and repeat switching hands. Wash back of fingers, rotating them in the palms. Wash fingertips, rotating them in palms. Wash thumbs using rotational movements. Thoroughly wash hands down to the wrists. Rinse hands. Dry with clean tissue. Turn off tap using tissue. Use tissue to open door and discard in bin. A simple act can make a huge difference. Stop the spread of viral infections including the flu and COVID-19 by practicing proper hand washing. This is a message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment.
Like a score and the read, and don't despise the poor. Respect yourself for sure. And shall we open all the doors? Always remember to be faithful. When God bless you in that life, you be grateful. And never diss the man will make you playful. On this loyalty are ungrateful. Get so youth me tell you to be careful. Anytime you give, just give cheerful. Babylon no love to see you able. So me burn the werewolf. And the weak. And don't despise the poor. Respect yourself for sure. And shall we open all the doors and you will settle scores. And the weak. And don't despise the poor. Respect yourself for sure. And shall we open all the doors.
judgment road. Live my next sense and me sell my soul to Satan. God bless me for share bad mind with it, so Andrew Blocks, me a go tell the boy Happy Grove. You coulda call it Happy Grove. Me life never easy, me don't try the happy road. Badness me use lucky road. Me always dream big, say me a go lucky do. And MTV bring the episode. Shot him out dead at grade 9 and that was a heavy prince. You kick we out, we go touch the road. Trace call, now me drop a C4. Every Thursday me lay a station a report. 13-year-old juvenile a fi pre-court. Every school. Damn fris, when me touch a Portmore. Pops Colbane scope more. From 3 west to 5 east at the place and we done show. Help my family when the well poor. 3,000 never forget the dumb plan or where we come from. Yeah. Real dogs never worry about being on. Cause we destiny don't plan.
Yo, mornings just got reclaimed. OMG in the morning.
Make sure to check out IKTV today if you're staying in to stop the spread of COVID-19. Get the real on COVID with the facts and fears, as well as public service announcements from the Ministry of Health. They also got some safety tips and educational videos for you all on COVID-19. Plus, they're keeping you entertained with the latest videos and concerts from your favorite artists. Check them out today. Check them out right now. It's channel 112 IKTV. All about you. All right, we're going to switch gears as we welcome Pastor Richards right here on OMG in the Morning.
Let's check in with the doc and look at things with a wider lens. Pastor Richards on OMG.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Daniel. Good morning to everyone in the studio there with you, I suppose, Flex.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. And our people here in St. Vincent, going about their regular work day. I hope that life has not been too disrupted for you, and by and large that most of you are able to continue your life support activities. In other words, going to work and taking care of what you've got to take care of. With caution, mind you, with caution, because I have kept throughout this period advocating caution as you go about doing what you're supposed to do. Some people are experiencing the disruption a little bit more so than others. And my thoughts are with you. With those I listened to a little bit of Dr. Friday this morning, and in the early part where he lamented and picked out a couple of sectors that were hard hit by the fallout from COVID and the actions that have been taken, and some of it imposed on us, because not all of the things that are happening here we have decisively and intentionally said this is what we're going to do. Some of it has happened by default, particularly within the tourism industry, both by vessels coming here and by aircraft coming here. And so whether or not we like it, that is upon us. And so some people have been put out by it. So my thoughts are with you. But this morning, well, by the way, Daniel, before I launch into it, is there anything that you wanted to comment?
No. I listen. I am all ears, because I said, Lord, Pastor has something he really wants to get off his chest this morning. So I
just said good morning, and I just I was out in the starting block, so I was like,
no. It's fine. Go ahead. I do have some questions for you, but throughout the course of the morning, I decided that I'm going to do a special program on that specifically. It deals with women.
Oh yeah. That's one of my pet and topic. I am ready.
I am going
Anytime
to be
you're ready for me to do that, just let me know.
Yeah, I'm going to be chanting until people get tired of hearing me talk about it. So that's going to be my mission here.
Good call. And I am in there with you. Don't let it be a 9-day talk.
No,
I'm in there with you.
It's going to be a continuous talk until we see some changes.
Yeah, we will talk. Yeah, but this morning I think I'm concerned about something I'm going to call, I guess it got stirred by what I saw in the U.S. Tokenism. And when I say tokenism, window dressing might be a good term. But what lies behind it? You have a nice looking show window, but what lies behind the show window is ugly and nasty. And these kind of thoughts got provoked because of the race situation in the United States. And what was in the underbelly is now beginning to come out. And that's because I believe that there has been quite a lot of what I would call tokenism, the right optics in many cases with respect to what we thought was progress in race. Now all this goes back way, even in that movement from 1963 throughout most of the 1960s, you thought that civil rights movement and then what culminated in certain civil rights laws being passed, that was going to be a fix. But you can't fix by law what is embedded in the mind. You follow me, right? You could legislate all you want, but this kind of respect for humanity cannot be legislated. And once you start putting legislation out there, you will get tacit response. You will get people complying on the surface level with the law, but embedded within their soul, embedded within their consciousness, how they feel about race. That does not change. And so we are seeing more and more blacks, for example, in offices, in certain positions, taking up administrative roles. So that particular ceiling we thought, has been cracked. But I am coming back. That's optics. Optics occasioned by the fact that you're pretty much forced into doing these things. It's just for sure. There are people out there who are going to vehemently disagree with me. I remember in I had a particularly liberal sociology professor at university in the United States. It was in Texas. And those were my early days. I think that was in my first year in university, just coming into that system. One of the things that I learned, because prior to going there and going to school there, I knew nothing about affirmative action. And I think because I was a black man in a class that was predominantly white, it was a private university, and not many blacks went to that university. But I think because of that, I think he felt like he could toot and show me how much of a liberal he was, and talked about and touting affirmative action and how wonderful it was. And so I think he was surprised at my pushback, and I was upset. I mean, again, I didn't live the life of a black man in the United States, and I didn't go through what they were going through. So as an outsider speaking, having not felt the travail of these blacks there, I was like, why are you doing this? Who wants affirmative action? And he and I think that sociology class, I can't remember what the topic was for that day, but it got suspended because I was near the back of the class and he's at the front, and I am pushing back and he's pushing back on affirmative action, and I visibly saw him getting redder and redder and redder, because I was like, my position was, this is window dressing. That was back then. I'm like, this is window dressing, and this is not going to help the black cause any. It is going to stoke the fire, because if you through affirmative action, and this is not the sum total of affirmative action, but part and parcel of it is that a quota, workplace quota, in terms of how many of your workforce should be Caucasian, or the minority, what percentage should be black. So you pretty much, by law, have to do this window dressing, where it comes down to the fact that you need a black or you need a minority therein, and sometimes a white might be thinking, whether or not this is true, a white might be thinking, a Caucasian might be thinking, oh, he's only there because he has to be there, affirmative action, and might be thinking, I'm losing my job, I'm losing an opportunity to someone, not necessarily that they're more qualified than I am, but because they have to fill a quota. Now, that's not true in all cases, right? So we have seen over the time a number of, if you compare the 70s to now, in terms of profile jobs and post positions and other things with blacks, tokenism as far as I'm concerned, optics making, because for example, when Trump takes a picture with an all-white staff, the liberal news media are going to play that all across the world and say, look at him, he's all Caucasian, he's all white, the optics is bad. And then they put up, in their meetings and whatever, they have pictures of very mixed, profiles, and tout it as presenting different optics, and that is the truth. It is optics. It is what you put out there. So optics don't change anything. What stirs in the soul of a man? You could put all of and this is why the race situation in the United States is playing out the way it is playing out now, because in terms of their tokenism and the window dressing that they have put out there, it's a good show. I mean, I spend a lot of time I shouldn't just spend a lot of time, but even in places like Atlanta, Georgia, where, I have a number of friends there, and I see blacks elevated to certain positions and all of that. It gives the idea that the playing field is being leveled until you examine the soul of men, and you realize that you have changed the window dressing, but you have not changed the soul. Tokenism. And then I will segue from that, Daniel, into what's happening here in St. Vincent, because somebody might be thinking, bring the commentary home. Don't talk about what's happening overseas. Bring the commentary home. But I see on the same level, necessary, hold as I say necessary tokenism and window dressing in a number of things here. Pertinently, we are now in the coronavirus era, and I want to go out on a limb and say that, and I know this is going to attract a tremendous amount of pushback and criticism, but I want to go out on a limb and say that a lot of our responses here in the Caribbean will fit within what I will call tokenism and window dressing. And I will explain why I say this. Because what has been dictated and modeled in the U.S. and more affluent countries with respect to how you should respond to the coronavirus, what constitutes a responsible response. Directions are given, the new term social distancing, limiting your numbers, shelter in place. These have all become terms that we are now batting around easily. And there are practices and templates that have been modeled and in fact suggested that these are more than suggested, but basically we are directed that these constitute responsible decisions and reactions, such that when you are not doing these things, you are deemed to be an irresponsible entity. If you don't shut down your economy, if you don't shelter in place, if you, you don't institute certain measures, even it came down to the wearing of masks. So everything that was directed and modeled, we were supposed to be doing these things. And believe me, some Caribbean governments tried. But you are trying to do what you were directed to do, or the templates that have been set or suggested for you without the necessary or what I would call the requisite resources and culture and situation to do it. For example, we could not, here in the Caribbean, willy-nilly follow the United States, because while they were given their directions and templates and issuing their orders, they had the response system, emergency response system, and other federal decisions that were taken to buffer and to support with resources their decision. For example, the shelter-in-place decision, for example, the shelter-in-place decision that required people to stay home from work, some of them salaried workers, but some of them wage earners, which are daily paid, which means that your wage is going to suffer, which means that people who are restaurant workers and owners are going to suffer terribly because often, eat-out culture, which means that if people are not out in commerce, out en masse in commerce doing what they normally do, that businesses, whether it's Nostrum or Dillard's or whatever, their sales are going to plummet. The mom and pop stores, Family Dollar, Dollar General, all of these people, income earners, is going to go down. But they buffered that, they supported that by trillions, not millions or billions. But when you begin to conceptualize the amount of money that was pumped to support their decision, and therefore they were able, to do that with the stimulus checks and the packages and all of that. They were able to make decisions because they had resources. I think in the Caribbean we have tried to make these kind of decisions also to have this facade of responsibility, but without the necessary resources. Of course, we have stimulus package. For example, here in St. Vincent, we had a $70-something million stimulus package. But how much of this is really window dressing? You call a curfew. You call a curfew from 9 o'clock in the night or 8 o'clock in the night to 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning. Window dressing that basically checks the right box. We are doing something. But the question is, how much peripheral support are you giving to what you are doing so that it can be sustained? Education. In the matter of how we are doing education, again, the template in the other countries, which, they have had the digital readiness, to use Jerry's term, their pipeline was large enough to accommodate the increased flow that was going to be necessitated because of shifting everything online. The teachers were ready, the system was ready, so they could easily do that. Here in the Caribbean, and which is why we are pushing back CXC dates and all of that, because it's like we were caught in a state of unreadiness, but even so we still want to follow their template and do the window dressing and do the tokenism. A lot of what we are doing, we feel compelled to do it, compelled that this is the right response, compelled to cut down numbers on the buses. But isn't that tokenism? Isn't that tokenism, where you 18 are traveling on a bus, but you say, okay, let's cut it down to 12, or and the numbers have been fluctuating. But do you really think that this effectively reduces the chances of effectively reduces the chances of cutting down on the transmission of the virus? For that, as far as I'm concerned, that's tokenism, window dressing, optics. It makes it look like you're doing something, but effectively, it is not really, getting it done. So you open business hours, all right? You're accustomed going from 7 to 9, but you change it from 8 to 5. Again, how effective is that? I mean, I don't get the logic behind it, as if between 8 and 5 or between 5 and 8 in the PM, when you would have ordinarily been open, you closed. I don't see how that works to effectively really reduce the transmission of the virus. But I can see how it works to give the impression, well, we are doing something. So we are filling water baskets, closed baskets with water. That's what we are doing. I mean, in this drought, that's what we are doing. We are filling closed baskets with water because it can't contain. Things are done that are not consistent. They're not thorough. I saw one on Facebook that said it's like having a swimming pool. You should not be peeing in the pool, but then somebody came up with the bright idea. We will have one end of the pool marked off where, this is the peeing section. So if you want to pee in the pool, go to this one. And again, it doesn't make no sense. Tokenism and window dressing, our tokenism, and I'm wrapping up here, our tokenism and window dressing really won't work as much as we want to sell to the world and sell to the people we are doing something. When you examine these things at their core, you have to ask yourself to what extent are we just trying to give the impression that we are doing something. Because if it is not sustainable, if you say, for example, let me go to education. We clean it, we open it back up school for 6th graders, and I think it's going back to 5th graders now. We're going to do that, but we're going to make sure all the schools are cleaned thoroughly. And then you put out a good press release towards that end. And it sounds good, the right optics, window dressing. It's window dressing if the truth and in fact that the schools are not really thoroughly cleaned, like you said. If you say, we, as part of our going back to school package, we are going to, the wearing of masks for the children. All right? And now across in Vincent and the Grenadines, I see, and maybe you have seen, Daniel, you have seen the pictures of the children, many are just not wearing masks. So you talk about, well, they're going to be social distance, but the parents drop them off. The parents drop them off at 8 when they go, parents are going into work or whatever, and they drop off these children at 8. And you see pictures of them all congregating and playing, which children would. A couple of them with masks, some of them wearing them properly, some of them below their noses, but by and large, many of them just running around skylarking with each other. You have seen the pictures, I have, others have, so, it's not makeup stuff. So, but you have this nice sounding rollout. Our children are going back to school. We assure you they are going to be safe. We assure you that these measures are in place. The schools will be clean. The desks will be clean. We're going to stagger recess and all of that. And it's a nice sounding rollout. But in effect, so what I'm saying, the window dressing looks good. It looks really good. But in effect, what really takes place behind the window dressing, there's no consistency. There's no thoroughness. You can't have 15% of the children doing it and 85% of them not doing it. Measures like these, if you're going to institute them, you won't have to be thorough. And there has to be conformity. And I'm not just talking schools, Daniel. I just use that for an example. I'm just talking in response to COVID. And the only way you can get people, that's why I mentioned the word culture, the only way you can get people in our parts to conform and do things that they're not accustomed doing, you're going to have to legislate it practically. And then you're going to have to enforce it. Because by just putting out there something as a suggestion or saying, we should be doing this, we should be doing that, people are going to pick and choose what they want to do, what they don't want to do. But if you want for us to be really safe, it's like the peeing in the pool thing. Some can do it and some not doing it. Some stores can have you lined up and then others not doing it. Window dressing, you say, we quarantine. Everybody coming in, all the sailors, we quarantine. You quarantine what? You send them home and they're home with family and they're going to have conjugal relations. It's not like a man has been out at sea for X amount of months and you come home and you tell him, boy, you can't have any kind of conjugal relations until 14 days. Yeah, right. It's a good window dressing. So he comes home but his wife goes out. That's window dressing, unless you quarantine or you're just peeing in the pool at one end. So I'm concerned that we are putting up a lot of talk when the dressing, and even people out there, not government, mind you, not government, even the things that we are calling for as people in terms of, social distancing, this and that and that and that. We want it in some cases, but not in the other cases. If we can't do these things thoroughly throughout the island, and in every situation and in every case and all of that, we are peeing in one end of the pool. And it's optics, and it looks good, and it sounds good, and it makes it seem like if you're being responsible, but ultimately it's tokenism. You're just giving a soft nod to the thing. You're saying, yeah, we acknowledge it's window dressing, but it's not really effectiveness. So I close by asking, what is it that we want? Do we want just a good sounding talk and putting up a good show, or is it that we want meaningful action, effective action, sustain the change? Is that what we want? And by the way, in case you were wondering, this is not about COVID only or race relations only. This is about all of life. I find that very often we put up a good show, optics matter, and we sell ourselves well, but the real substance of what's behind what we are selling is a different thing altogether. And I'm not going to exclude myself from this, by the way. I'm challenging myself that it should go more than optics. It should go more than window dressing and tokenism, and that the talk we talk should be the walk we walk. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good day.
Thank you, Pastor. Have a good day.
Okay, bye.
Let's check in with the doc and look at things with a wider lens. Pastor Richards on OMG. We lighten up the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. OMG in the morning.
The Love Zone.
The best R&B jams, period.
Hear it on Boom 1069.
Hey, on Thursdays we throw it back, boy.
Throwback Thursday. The biggest throwbacks all day. It's nothing but continuous urban jams. Lock it to the Evolution Station.
We talk about your jams, the old school joints, everything.
On Thursday, we throw it back.
It's Throwback Thursdays on the Evolution Station.
This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot.
Throwback Thursday.
When the talk about Evolution.
1069 Boom. 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 Boom.
Yo, it's your boy DJ Diego of Boom 1069. Just giving you a little sneak peek of behind the scenes of what we do to keep our scene clean and stop the spread of COVID-19. We all have to do our part to stop the spread. Stay home, stay safe, stop the spread. A message from Boom 1069 and IKTV.
Mornings just got reclaimed. OMG in the morning.
We gotta say good morning as well to Lenore and Randy. They're locked on. Puerto Rico is in the house as well. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for locking on with us. We hope that you'll be back with us tomorrow. tomorrow we have a little special something. We're gonna learn about something tomorrow, right, Flex?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. All right, so you're definitely gonna want to check that out and continue to be a part of the evolution all day long by keeping it locked on to Boom 106.9. Coming up next is the Shade Room on behalf of the entire OMG team as well as Morales. Morales, you know, you're part of the OMG team now. And one of these days, I'm going to take the camera and point it in that direction so you guys can see the guys behind the camera. All right, make sure that you stay safe, and we hope that you have a fantastic day. Continue to lock on to Boom 106.9.
We lighten up the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. OMG in the morning.